Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we have yet another example of what happens when the Streisand effect takes place in the gaming scene. It really is quite ridiculous that these people don't understand what happens now that the narrative is not controlled by them on Twitter anymore. You have all of these woke journalists out there trying to make hit pieces on different companies, and we went over the entire thing with Sweet Baby Inc. and the potential extortion racket that they have going on over there. It is all quite, honestly, just very telling over the entire thing. But now we have another example with Black Myth Wukong becoming the #1 Steam wishlisted game after the entire revelation, not only about Sweet Baby Inc., but also about the purposefully mistranslated article written by IGN about the developers.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Now, I was going through Twitter, and we have a post here from Grums that says Black Myth Wukong is now the #1 on Steam's wish list, beating out Monster Hunter Wild, which is pretty insane, and Space Marine 2 by nearly 5 times the amount. IGN's hit pieces are backfiring. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, that is an absolute fact, because we've seen so many times that whenever these mainstream journalists tend to gather together and try to make a hit piece on something and try to get the mainstream to hate that something, what ends up happening is gamers rally behind it because they already know how this works. They know that the journalists, if they hate something, that means that chances are it probably is going to be aligned with what gamers are looking for. So they tend to back that game because the journalists hate it. So let's get into this video, guys. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, if we look at this list here, it honestly is pretty insane to see the company that is taking place with Black Myth Wukong. You got them at #1, and then you got Hollow Knight Silksong at #2, Frostpunk 2 at #3, Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl at #4, The First Descendant #5, Arc 2 at #6, Once Human at 7, Monster Hunter Wilds at 8, Space Marine 40,002 at 9, and Unrecord at #10. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, it is insane because look at the amount of followers that the game actually has. Hollow Knight Silksong has 290,000 followers on this wish list, and Black Myth Wukong at #1 has 472,000 followers at the time of this recording. That is a massive number, and that's all thanks to the woke journalists, the ones who want to attack this company because they're deciding not to bend the knee to DEI, and they're trying to run this entire smear campaign against this developer, purposefully mistranslating what they say in English, so that way people who are too lazy to check can just read it and think that the man is automatically sexist, this, that, whatever. They're trying to smear them, and they're trying to then make them pay to fix their image. It's a ridiculous racket, and I'm glad that it's being exposed over time. We have an article here from SmashJT.com with a headline that says Black Myth Wukong screams to the top charts as IGN's journalism gets exposed further. Now, SmashJT has been doing a pretty damn good job exposing these woke journalists, and they hate it so much that they're doing literally everything they possibly can to try to get him canceled. They're trying to get him fired from a job he no longer works at. They're trying to take down his website, and they have failed miserably and gave up in that regard. Now they're trying to smear him online. And the best part about all of this, right, after trying for weeks to hurt this man financially, what do they do? They show you their real colors, right? They end up saying, well, it doesn't matter, I don't care, keep your stupid website. It's such a cope and seed because they completely lost the narrative, they completely lost the battle, and now they're just giving up with their tails in between their legs, angry and sad, and they're trying to run hit pieces and doing everything they possibly can to maintain the narrative, because God knows they did this for years, right? They did this for 5 or 10 plus years, and they had complete utter control over the entire narrative, and Twitter was the main reason why they were able to do that. Now they can't do that with Twitter, so they've completely lost control. So they're still going to their old tricks because that's all they know. These people aren't exactly the most adaptable. You know, they're not the ones that are able to change up on the fly and adapt their content to try to fit the current norms. Like that's just not what they're capable of. They're going to continue to do the same thing that they've always been doing in the hopes that it's going to work. But the funny thing is, it's just Streisand 100% affecting them nonstop. Smash JT says, you love to see it. In a wild turn of events, Black Myth Wukong, an upcoming very badass looking, which I agree, action RPG from Game Science Studio, has surged to the top of Steam's wishlist, surpassing other highly anticipated titles like Monster Hunter Wilds and Warhammer 40k, Space Marine 2, by nearly 5 times the amount. The interest in Black Myth Wukong stems from the growing controversy involving alleged journalistic malpractice by IGN, once heralded as one of the gaming industry's most prominent news outlets, just like Kotaku back in the day. It really is quite sad to see what has happened to our mainstream gaming journalism. I mean, we've been seeing this debacle go on for the last 10 plus years, so we can't exactly, pretend to be shocked, but I gotta tell you, man, it really is sad. We could be having so much greater effect on the gaming industry if games journalism wasn't so focused on being activists, right? If they were actually trying to do right by gamers and trying to report the news properly, and instead of attacking people for not agreeing that trans women are women and focusing on just simply reporting on the games and trying to get mainstream access so they can have a conversation with developers and try to pass off information to developers from gamers and whatnot. Imagine if that relationship was possible, the things that would be possible in gaming. But unfortunately, it's just not the case because a lot of the actual gaming journalism has been co-opted by activists. We have proven this time and time again. It is a well-documented thing, and they can't help themselves, right? Even if we weren't making videos on it, they would showcase themselves and their activism through and through in the public on their own accord. We don't actually have to even shine a light on them because they're such psychopaths, they're going to do it themselves. But of course, us making videos does make them quite upset. So it's a little bit fun. The core of the controversy originates from what sounds like myself, Grums, and Pirate Nation and Old Man Grim, among many others in the gaming community, are calling a coordinated attack against Game Science Studio. Earlier reports, and I use that term extremely lightly here, by IGN included allegations of sexual misconduct within the studio, claims that were reportedly based on mistranslated documents, and stretched the infractions to the extreme in order to make a point against the studio. Folks have been pointing out these discrepancies, accusing IGN of these misrepresentations to unfairly target the studio, and to be honest, it's not a great look. Further complicating the issue, it has been alleged that IGN did not compensate the translator who highlighted the mistranslations, leading to a protective stance on social media by the involved translator. The situation has opened IGN up to criticism regarding their journalistic ethics and their treatment of freelance contributors. Listen, man, if you're still working with IGN, Kotaku, or whatever, and you're expecting fair treatment, you really need to wake the fuck up because it's not going to be coming towards you. Interestingly enough, every time Black Myth Wukong has been mentioned in IGN's coverage since the original allegations, references to these supposed misconduct issues have been included, leading to the accusations that IGN is not merely reporting on the game, but actively trying to undermine its success. The mention of a $7 million fee that Game Science refused to pay to Sweet Baby Inc. for promotional activities adds another layer of complexity, suggesting potential financial motivations behind the negative coverage. Of course there is, man. It's a racket at the end of the day. Anybody with a brain can see what's happening. Obviously, we can't prove it, fully through and through, not yet, unless a whistleblower comes out. But you can see it coming. It is so obvious. I don't know how else to put it other than that. The fact that they have everybody in cahoots, they're all in the same Discord server, they all collaborate, they all try to figure out ways to try to spin the narrative against certain studios. And then once they ruin that studio's image, that studio will then have to pay a certain amount of money for the DEI consultancy firms to then fix that studio's image. You catch what I'm saying? Like, that's all this is. Ruin the image, basically provide the problems, and then provide the solution and try to be the savior for the problems that you yourself created that weren't originally there in the first place. This thing is an absolute psycho fucking just complete racket, and I hope that it continues to get exposed as more people research it. And it's crazy, man. You got people all over the internet, all over Twitter, people who were never getting involved before. Now all of a sudden they're doing research and they're getting to the bottom of this shit, and it's very easy to find the information once you actually go searching for it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.